Hello and welcome to your daily 5-minute reboot. Today's topic is the cycles of the planets and you. Well, I'm sure everybody has been exposed to the concept or the idea of Mercury being in retrograde, or of Saturn, which is where we are right now, which is between March 25th, I think, and August 23rd or 25th, somewhere around there. And you get people that do stop everything they're doing. They don't sign contracts in certain of these cycles, and certainly many things that happen on our planet is related to these cycles, and also in people's personal lives. Now, I understand that what we're dealing with are cycles. The way the planet moves, and this is really what we're measuring everything against. It's the cycling through of the planet, the various cycles that it goes through, the various houses that it's moving through, meaning all the other planets, how it's moving through the solar system, and and in terms of how that then impacts us as human beings. How does that impact our bodies? How does that impact our minds? How does that impact perhaps the script for human life? And that is also dependent also on where we are, the location that we are on the planet. Now, I have often stayed away from making those claims that Mercury is in retrograde, so be careful, or you're going to be impacted by, or don't do this or don't do that. I have basically just stayed away from everything, and I think the reason the reason why I have is because I sort of just came into this planet with this sense of just this real masterful sense of, this is who I am. I am not ruled or controlled by anything. Now, it doesn't mean that I haven't been affected by a great many things, probably things that I don't even pay attention to. Because why is that? Because I'm also networked in. It's the only way that I could have the kind of human experience I've had is because, like everybody else, you have to be networked in, just like, again, a computer system. We are all interlinked into a system that defines um, human life, regardless of where it is on the planet. There is sort of this basic script or basic blueprint, and according to each environment, there are some things that might be somewhat different. I also realized that with astrology, it's a lot of it is it's default. I call it the default programs. Much of what will happen in terms of the kind of pull that the planets may have on us, or the whole cycle, the various cycles, what the impact that it might have on us, all of those I refer to as default programs, a default operation. The system has to run. Just picture it as this machine, and it knows how to run automatically. It goes through these various transition cycles according to what needs to happen, like a conveyor belt. How things get put in, and the process that it goes through to then fall onto maybe the belt to be wrapped or packaged, or a lid put on it. It's a whole process that happens, and that's automatic. Now, somebody could probably take one item off and just manually do it themselves. Then it's not part of the system, the machine system, or the conveyor belt system. And so I see it with our lives. and the choices that we make. There is no doubt about it that you do come up. We all do come up against many what seem to be obstacles. We come up against the smoke and mirrors of the game. We come up against a lot of things when it appears as if you're going against the grain or going in opposition to the default program. But I also like to look at it as part of the exercise, building master muscles, building my ability to begin to remember, to also begin to allow that part of us to emerge that does supersede the default programs. We are not running from them. We are not hiding from them. We are not trying to escape them. We are simply recognizing that that is a system that is in place, that is there. It has to be there to keep this virtual reality going, and it's there running for as long as I guess it needs to run. It's always going to be there in some context or another, but it's there so that we can have the experiences that are sort of designated or set up in the blueprint, and you're having that, but it also allows for those who um, are ready to step it up with their own mechanism, then their own ability to regulate themselves, that opportunity is also there. So it is helping you. The entire system is helping us to build up our muscles, to build up our ability to be masters, to remember, to connect. It's also providing us information. Yes, there is information that's coming all the time from it, right? Because everything is what? Streams of data, streams of information. And so, again, as we breathe in, we take in information. As we breathe out, we're taking information. So, is this ongoing transmitting and receiving process that's going on all the time anyway? But because we're so conditioned to the default blueprint of reality, that is where our focus tends to lie. And everything in our surroundings, in our environment, tend to support us remaining in that default activity, in that default way of operating. So I wanted to just sort of remind you, wanted to throw that at you. I'd love to be able to do a deeper workshop on all of this. But I find that too, that the more I get into, the deeper I go, is I seem to engage less. I would love to be able to talk about this stuff more. There's so many things that I've understood in the last couple of months, and sometimes I do think about that. I think, man, because it changes my it takes my perspective to an even greater level, and I just see some phenomenal things, some phenomenal levels of understanding with much of this now, and I know that it is all necessary if if we really are thinking about moving to yet this more expansive levels beyond the default system, but not based on escaping it, but simply based on truly understanding and loving and falling in love with the whole virtual experience anyway. All right, so anyway, once again, think about it and do take action.